And, doink. God, what a sight for sore eyes, one would take it. Hello. It's been a while. A very, very long while. As you can see, nothing has really changed in the grand scheme of anything for that matter. But I am back, one would say. Life's been a very fun roller coaster for the last couple months. Not much has really happened in the grand scheme of everything, and not a lot of stuff I really want to talk about. Besides getting some life stuff together. Going out, trying to do better, as one would put it. And here I am again with trying to slowly bring back stuff I enjoyed doing, and streaming to a certain extent was one of the things I enjoyed doing. So I would figure I would try it once again for a little bit today. And to keep me interested and motivated doing what I like doing, I am going to focus myself into one particular thing I wanted to do and keep it going from there. As you can see, we have booted up the game, and the stream title and the description alone should be enough to sort out what the next forever in streaming is going to entail. Of course, there will be breaks in between here or there, but this is what I'm mainly subsetting my streams into, and I don't intend on switching that subset of streaming. I will be playing every Final Fantasy game that I would consider to be a Final Fantasy game. This will basically include every Final Fantasy game that is still playable, with some of them being mobile games that are unplayable, and a lot of lost games as well that are all basically mobile games. I would say that this would be a mainline video, but I'm also going to include a lot of the side games as well, because I don't know how long I'm going to do this series for, but I figured that we will keep it open in the sense of we will include the side games, and we will include side games that have the name Final Fantasy but are not Final Fantasy games. That only entails like 4 games in the entire series for when they were released in the West. They're not Final Fantasy games, but they are not Final Fantasy games, but they were called Final Fantasy games. So I may count those in. They're short games for the most part, so I'll count them. But that includes all the mainline games 1 to 16. Hell, if I really feel like it, maybe we'll try out the MMOs. I'm not an MMO player. We'll see. They are considered mainline, but they're not really mainline. They just have the number. But that only includes 11 and 11 and 13? No, wait. No, 11 and 14. Sorry. I'm stupid. It's 11 and 14. Because 11's the old MMO, 14's the new one, 13's the Lightning Trilogy, and 12 is the one on PS2. 14's the MMO, 15's 4 Dudes in the Car, and 16's the one with Clive in it. I'm going to set this up with the... I'm going to go through the preliminaries of this. I'm going to start with the first game and work my way up. There will be no skipping. I need to play every game to completion, and I need to jot down notes. And at the end of each game, I will, at the end, summarize how I felt of the game, and I will make a YouTube video covering the game itself and talking about my likes and dislikes of the game. The only Final Fantasy games I have played to completion, this is a very important subject, saying I love Final Fantasy, but I've barely played any of the games of it. Trying to beat the LARPer allegations, the only Final Fantasy games I have actually finished to completion is Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 9. The games I was close to finishing, but then dropped it because I am a very stupid guy, very stupid person, would be Final Fantasy 4. I want to say Final Fantasy 4 I've almost finished, and Final Fantasy 7 I've also almost finished. Everything else is basically fair game in terms of I've never played it. There's also fews that I've gotten about a quarter of the way through and then dropped them. Final Fantasy 2 and 3 are on that list. But for the most part, I have tried out most Final Fantasy games, never finished them. So how I'm going to do this is I am going to start with the very first game, in the very first version of the game, that being the NES version. We're not going to go with any of the nice, fancier bells and whistles ones of like Wonder Swan. What does that be? Wonder Swan, Game Boy Advance, PSP versions. There's also a few other ones like MSX, 3DS. We won't be counting those games. At least not yet. Maybe we can consider doing a couple of those to make the video a little bit more interesting. Also, as the title suggests, I'm going to just keep retro achievements on and may or may not master these games as we go along. I'm using retro achievements as a baseline in terms of 100%ing these games to the best of my ability without looking at a guide, because the last thing I will be doing, and this is the last stipulation, I will not, or really attempt not to, use a walkthrough for anything. This will dick me out of 100%, but I feel like it's only fair for me to go into these games as blind as humanly possible. And I will be not taking any person that comes in chat's advice. I need to problem solve everything. I need to find everything. I need to experience everything as God intended. Now, that being said, I have finished Final Fantasy 1 a million times. I have only finished Final Fantasy 9 once. And a few of the Final Fantasy games in between that I have played up to a certain extent, I know how to play them up to a certain extent. So some of these will not be true blind first playthroughs, but I will talk about my likes and dislikes as we go through these games, and I will also be able to experience a lot of content that I didn't experience in other games, because when I did play Final Fantasy 9, I was young and I didn't do any of the side content in that game, to be honest with you. When I played Final Fantasy 9 for the first time, I think I did some of the side stuff, but I didn't do all of it. So if we ever make it to that game, it will be a lot more fun to go through. Be a lot more fun to talk about that one. But anyway, it is only fair that we start a Final Fantasy marathon with starting with the first game. Now, I am also going to list off another stipulation that I have when going into these Final Fantasy games. I am going to be allowing the use of speeding up the game if it is on emulator. This will probably count every Final Fantasy game up until the modern Final Fantasy games, so I can speed up my grind sessions. It's not going to be as purist as possible, because these games can get relatively long, and some of the achievements do require a hefty amount of grinding in order to do them. I will also consider doing... Oh, I got a phone call from my brother. Give me a sec.